There is a lot of content I skipped over. I will now go back over the subplots so that what I talk about for the world the NPCs enter at the end of the final boss makes sense. Starting with something I did sort of mention, Fern's relationship with her older sister Jax is very briefly explored in her Ghost World questline, as she quite frequently talks about how she relied on her cooking and crafting. I thought it's very effectively said during the final boss, which is why I'm only talking about it now. During the third stage, after destroying one eyeball, Jax very frantically tugs at Ace, since they were losing for the developers. Fern after this says, "Oh Jax, why?" which showcases the frustration sparked between the two due to this conflict. Jax has thrown away her sister for Ace, and Fern has to keep up with the agents and it's a lot of pressure on the two of them, all because of Jax's naivety. At the end of the third stage, the developers erase the NPCs, causing Jax to shout, "Ace, Fern, no!" In a much louder tone. Your ears are not worthy of me shouting. Jax still cares about Fern. The next subplot is about the Illen clan. Starts with an I, or just the Illen clones. Doesn't start with an I. In each of the three worlds, there is a ghost hunter by the spawn area who asks the player to fill out the pet index from the pet crates in each world respectively. These NPCs look exactly the same, with only the slight variation of differently coloured clothes. Ghost Hunter Villain, a character who seems to remain loyal to the developers, created half-human, half-ghost clones by using the properties of a ghost in the Bloxbyte HQ. This process can be seen in the right wing. Many, and I mean many, of these clones failed and were rejected by the villain, some of which can be found in the upper deck of the spaceship. The only successful clones were Dylan, Jillian, and Willen, going from oldest to youngest in that order. The clones are much more playful and childish than Villain, showing a stark contrast in how amazed they become with the player as they unbox pets. They do present themselves as quite helpless characters who haven't gotten the choice to be with who they want. They have to follow what their family does because that is their only way of living. Willen and even Jillian at some points start questioning, why do some people not like the developers? It just emphasizes their innocence on all of this. Because they aren't human, they feed on a substance called goo, which is described as their way of sustenance, or in simpler terms, it's how they eat. They can eat anything, it just won't provide any nutrients for them. The next subplot is about two characters named Human and Victor, who were the first infinite questlines in Ghost Simulator, providing a supply of gems for the player in return for Ghost's ectoplasm. These two NPCs are siblings from a different game. The developers do not recognize their code, so they are generally considered aliens, like the ghosts to the Area 51 scientists. Their names stem from their interests, as Human finds a curiosity in human studies, while Victor finds a curiosity in battle. Moreover, if he is the winner of battle, he is victorious. Their intentions are unclear, as neither really explain what they're doing, so I'll leave you to your inferences. The same is for Ghost Hunter Julian and David, who are technically separate, but it's fitting to bunch the infinite questlines together. Julian locates in the farm, supplying gems for Ghost's ectoplasm. It's unclear what his backstory is, and same for his intentions. David is an NPC who resides by the Void Castle in the Dev's Realm. He is an automated computer that supplies the player with crate keys and event bait for Ghost ectoplasm. Again, the backstory and intentions are unclear. The next subplot is about two twins named Joven and Boven, who both underwent an experiment to become cyborgs. Joven is extremely loyal to the developers as he shows up at the top of the Ghostly Islands to distract the player with a once excruciatingly hard pet and box questline. He makes it a point that the developers are benevolent and extremely kind, which at the time would have portrayed them as brainwashing manipulative maniacs. However, now we know that they had genuinely good intentions and they were truly trying to keep this NPC on their side. He was neutral, as he didn't want his friends, the agents, and his family, the developers, to fight. He is found outside of the Bloxbyte HQ trying to convince them to not go along with the final battle. He spams each side with cute pet pictures. He sends gifts to the agents. He begs and tries everything, unable to make a difference. The next subplot is a bit of a mix of different characters following their own ideas. Riley, Gabe, and Hans were co-worker scientists who invented gum as a new mechanic. When Riley nearly glitched Gabe out, she was sent to the back door to be fixed, but the memories of her were never removed from the NPCs, so her friends, the Area 51 scientists, and anyone else who had met her knew who she was. They just couldn't find her. Gabe and Hans split off, where Hans goes to pursue a life as a wizard, obsessed with hands, hence the name Hans, while Gabe pursues a life as a ghost hunter, becoming the one to introduce the player to the game. Another NPC, named Uru, who doesn't really fit into the spectrum, is Gabe's adopted sister, or the other way around, we don't know. Uru wanted to pursue a life in racing. That's pretty much it. The next subplot is something I mentioned earlier. The agents of Luna had gotten their own Discord accounts, and sometimes talked there to drop exposition and have a grand old time. Shelley makes a historic friend named Smoot during a game night, with several users to call off from work. Leah in particular made the most appearances, bringing up Ghost Hunter Ali. Ali, based on Tutu, is a cheese-loving enthusiast who set up the Cheese Connoisseurs Club with Leo to spread the love of cheese. During one of the testing experiments in Blaze's lab, the pair accidentally created a pet called Big Cheese. If you'd like to see what else the agents have said, I'll link an invite to the Bloxbite Games Discord server in the description, and a document housing all of their messages. While we were talking about the agents, I should mention the love triangle, or rectangle, that's going on. You see, Fern once liked Ace, but he became off the table. So then she grew toward Leo, but Leo grew toward Luna, but Luna grew toward Blaze, but Blaze, he just loves science. His devotion can't be separated. It's very weird. The last subplot is quite short, actually. It's about an NPC found in the back alley of Block City named Ghost Hunter Liz. She appears as a messenger from the developers to try to communicate with the player and gain their trust by giving them a pet. It doesn't work, of course, and Liz's character isn't explored much deeper, but it's still a subplot that I need to talk about, so there it is. Also, I didn't write this into the script, but Rowan has a crush on Liz, for whatever reason. Before we get to the next world, and finish the conflict between the developers as well as the NPCs, we need to talk about the events of the past, between the very start to the Christmas of 2020. Keep in mind this happens in increments, so it doesn't happen all in one go. I'm just explaining it like this for simplicity's sake, mainly because of Bo. So, Bo, you've heard me refer to him as that dapper-looking fellow a couple of times. The player first meets him in the dinosaur event, shortly after the debut of Ace and Leo in the Ghost World. He is trying to throw a party for his birthday in Dinoland, while simultaneously constructing a ghostly army, for reasons. With the player by his side, he successfully throws a party in exchange for a couple crate keys, and an unforgettable bond in the form of friendship. Bo shows up again as Vampire Bo during the 2019 Halloween event, throwing a Halloween party for the ghosts, but has somehow forgotten who the player was. You see, the developers had caught wind of Bo, who they didn't appreciate was a rogue entity hopping across dimensions. They wiped his memory and plopped him into the event, which didn't work, as it just so happens ghosts can't have their memories wiped. Bo was only faking that his memory had been wiped. He continues to make the player gather ghosts for his ghostly army, which is a running gag that he often tries to shove to the side. He very abruptly states that he is actually forming an army in order to overthrow them, and that the player should talk to the Ghost World NPCs in order to know why. If we consider them to be the developers, Bo is trying to overthrow the developers of Ghost Simulator. Bo regrets making Shelley lose her memory, but he isn't the type to seek revenge. He is more of a jolly, goofy type that tries to resolve everything with friendship. Next was the Christmas event, introducing the North Pole and the elves to the player. The ghosts have invaded this new land, one of which, the Timber Scrooge, has stolen Santa, pretty much jeopardizing the course of Christmas for that year. The head elf devises a plan for the player to sneak in and stop the Timber Scrooge, taking back Christmas. Each of the elves would make part of Santa's costume, so when the player wears it, the Timber Scrooge will take the player into the heart of the lair, where it can be stopped. Unfortunately, each of the elves have some chores that they have the player do, alongside questlines showcasing who they are. Blue Elf, who situates by the advent calendar in Ski Slope, is a lazy, easygoing elf that can be quite tough and aggressive. They make sure to give all their chores to the player, but eventually find a notion of respect towards them due to their capabilities and resilience. This is similar to Adam's questline in Block City, but it's Christmas, so it's different. Green Elf, who resides on the frozen lake, forgets stuff easily and is clumsy. They are expectedly quite a kind of character, but they do make the player do some tasks for Christmas. Finally, Head Elf is a hard-working and motivative leader of the elves who takes charge of the situation in a rather frantic but honourable fashion. The Head Elf briefly talks about how they had recently lost an elf which was really weighing on everyone's minds. This lost elf doesn't become important later whatsoever. After defeating the Timber Scrooge, Christmas is saved and the rest of the event is dedicated to cleaning up the North Pole from the remaining ghosts. Also, Bo appears again. Hidden away in the ice wave, while the player is doing the elf questlines, Bo initiates more tasks in order to grow his army. Mid-questline, he realizes his old friend Santa had been kidnapped, so he tells the player to go free him. His tasks center about growing his ongoing ghostly army, involving trying to convince the Timber Scrooge into becoming a general. On the left wing of the Bloxbite HQ's entrance is a box showing Bo pressing a button, which unleashes an Easter-themed tree and one of Fluffy's hand. Fluffy is the Easter event megaboss, which makes Bo responsible for the event itself. He can be found as an Easter egg in another game, which makes sense lore-wise as he can world hop. He can also travel through time. This information is hinted at in the 2019 Thanksgiving event, which I skipped over since there wasn't any relevant exposition in it. This is the same case as with the space event just before Shelley's release, because it had no questlines or notable lore. Next was the Easter event, introducing us to a new title of characters called the Egg Hunters. Fluffy had decided to ruin the egg hunt, and the Egg Hunters needed to keep him under control so that everyone could have a happy Easter. Each of them spread out across the worlds with their own quest lines and prize eggs to give to the player. Cullen, who we don't talk about, Reed as an adaptation of Royally Flushed, and Stella and Lily. Stella and Lily are siblings who lost their parents due to the ghosts and were brought up in an Easter environment. Stella promised Lily to never worry about the ghosts again, becoming possessive and controlling, while Lily is showcased as childish and wants to impress Stella while becoming her own person. The last egg hunter is Ella. Ella is a lost elf from the North Pole, originally named Pink Elf. Due to some unfinished code, she is unable to call any one place home to her. She somehow gets the ability to world hop, and she goes across events in order to find a place she can be comfortable. As an egg hunter, she is able to find a place for herself, but she does miss her old home. Next was the Atlantis event, which happens shortly after the final battle between the developers and the agents. Finsley, the pirate, often talked about wanting to go to Atlantis. Atlantis is a prosperous underwater city home to whoever the citizens are, because we don't ever meet them. We do, however, find Ghost Hunter Poseidon, the ruler of Atlantis, in front of the entrance to his castle. Poseidon is trying to fend off the ghosts who have recently invaded the land, so he hires the player as his castle guard in order to defeat them. Bo, unsurprisingly, also causes this invasion by angering the Flying Dutchman, who was the boss of the event. While the Atlanteans did make their suspicions on him, Poseidon ignored his potential guiltiness as they were once upon a time good friends. Bo describes Poseidon as quite a clingy and strange character, as he does not want to owe him any favours. He also tries to evade blame for causing the ruckus in Atlantis by fishing at the top of a cliff. With the player, he continues to grow his army with underwater recruits. Next was the 2020 Halloween event, introducing us to Ghost Hunter Victoria. Victoria used to be only the passion and emotion of players, and was a present entity in the previous Halloween event. She didn't have a physical body, hence why the player didn't interact with her. In her time watching Bo's party, she saw players being knocked down by the Halloween dungeon and the Headless Hallow. She thought that if everything went under control, it would all be fine and everyone would have fun during the Halloween. So, when the Headless Hollow struck a deal with her, she accepted. In return for his physical body, she would go do the Hollow's bidding. Fast forward to the 2020 Halloween event, she has grown insane due to the prospect of control and power, wanting to replace Bo. She constructs the Frankie Megaboss in order to defeat the player, as she believes this would help reach her goal. Of course, this comes across as slightly evil to the player, so they defeat the Frankie Megaboss and move on with their day. Victoria does not have a good temper, showcased when they ask about her own origins. She does say that she was sabotaged and fired while working for Ghost Hunter Adam in the Block City, but this might be false information. So what was Bo doing? Or rather, what was not Bo doing? Similar to the 2019 event for Halloween, Bo pretended to not know the player for a majority of his questline, but instead of his memory being erased, he was trying to hide from Victoria, as she had been kidnapping ghosts in order to construct Frankie. His main goal of the questline was to get back at Victoria by freeing the ghosts she had kidnapped, defeating Frankie a couple times, and stealing her bucket for unknown reasons. Of course, the ghosts that the player and Bo saved became conscripted for his ghostly army, which was still a growing force, even though the final battle had already happened. Well, what was the point? The NPCs were still at war, as they were constructing that portal to go to find the developers after they'd fled. That portal would be connected to the final world called the Void, and Bo wanted to prevent more and more conflict between the NPCs and the developers. But waging war? Let's continue. Next was a 2020 Christmas event. Sorry Thanksgiving, you just aren't that important. While the ghosts have invaded the North Pole again, jeopardizing Christmas for the elves, the ghosts have also started to possess the toys and stormed Santa's workshop. In particular, the Nutcracker Megaboss changes the workshop into an arena, and the elves need to work together again with the player in order to save Christmas. The same scenarios happen again. Blue Elf is slightly lazy, but more into it after becoming friends with the player from last year. Green Elf is the same since they always forget stuff, and Head Elf is as panicked as ever. The difference from last time was Ella, that egg hunter from the Easter event, who was actually an elf. She returned to the North Pole for Christmas because she was homesick, re-becoming the Pink Elf. She is as upbeat and passionate as ever, but has somehow not met any of the main characters. Because of her constant world hopping, she has become something of a rumour amongst the agents, who do observe anomalies like Ella. Also, Bo appears, again. Bo is slightly late for this event as he mistakes the date in his calendar. Because of this, he makes the player save Christmas again for him, because that's how he rolls.